Days after U.S. President Joe Biden said in an interview that American bombs had been used to kill civilians in Gaza, now a U.S. State Department report says that Israel may have breached humanitarian law in its war in Gaza. How damning is this report?
Kind of basically designed to try and thread the needle to try to make everybody happy. And I think as a result, it's making nobody happy because it does say things that are very clear that says there is credible evidence that some of the American weapons have been used to kill civilians in the Gaza Strip. And then in the same report says, but there's not enough evidence for us to conclusive, so we're going to keep giving the weapons. So it's like President Biden goes on CNN last night and, makes this big statement about how he's going to withhold weapons if they use them to kill civilians in the Gaza Strip. Then you have the Israeli parliament today or their war cabinet say that they have decided they are going to go in there to do that. So it's kind of just a big mess about what does the United States actually mean when they say these things, and will they ever stop weapons shipments to Israel?
Colonel Davis, we heard from the Israeli war cabinet that the assault on Rafah will be limited. But what we are seeing on the ground is a little bit different. Who's saying what when it comes to the offensive in Rafah? If Israel decides to go ahead with the offensive, what are the ramifications of that?
Everything is in the eye of the beholder, and Israel has throughout this war said one thing and kind of done something different. And very often they say, this thing is happening right here when it's not, or this is not happening and it is, and it's self-evident. So really all you can go by is what's actually happening on the ground. And we know they approved the operation today. We know that there has been airstrikes every day into the Rafah area, even before any of these people are trying to get out. And when they go in there on the ground, I mean, I think it's like parsing, trying to be nitpicky to say it's a heavy one or it's a medium one. If you're going in there and you're trying to kill people and you're blowing stuff up, that's a ground incursion, however you want to parse it. And then now that it gets back to, does President Biden mean what he says when he says he's going to withhold artillery and rocket ammunition if Israel goes in there? And so now it appears that they are. And I think it's up to him to decide if he's going to be a man of his word or not.
Where do you see America's role playing significantly in averting civilian casualties and this war turning out to be a war crime?
As I've been saying on your program many times before, the path that Israel is on right now, that Netanyahu has committed his country to militarily, cannot be achieved. They cannot bring peace to their people by the military means they're employing here because so many people are being killed. And look, again, you can take the words away and just look at what's happening on the ground. There is so much evidence that this is just wanton, absolute destruction of the ability for the Palestinian people to survive, whether they have homes or not, or whether there's people there or not. And I mean, you have the IJC said there's credible evidence that there is a genocide going on. So the question for the U.S., are you going to facilitate that? Or are you going to act on what your eyes see and say, we're not going to participate in this? Because helping Israel now, giving them the weapons that they're asking for, perversely will not bring peace to them. So withholding those weapons, it's going to be a big problem. It's going to cause a rift between the two sides. There's no question. But without those weapons and without those ammunition, Israel can't continue on at the same pace that it's been going, and therefore people will be killed at the same pace. And again, I keep getting back to it. It just depends on what the United States is going to do with its credibility and its word.
We saw the United Nations General Assembly vote in support of a Palestinian bid for full membership. Your thoughts?
The United States, with its words, says that we believe in a two-state solution, and now here presented with a golden opportunity to put action to those words, we punted again and said no. We were one of 9 states out of the entire globe that said no. And look, I just worry for our country because we're just getting on the wrong side of history. We're getting on the wrong side of our own values, and the rest of the world is continuing to move in a direction of that. That there needs to be a peace in this. There needs to be a solution for these people. And right now, Israel doesn't want to give the Palestinians any hope for self-governance, much less a state of their own. And, we're just not on the right side of this. I'm afraid I can't put it any better than that.